The case of Chen Shimei, justice at the executioner's blade. In the reign of Emperor Renzong of the Song dynasty, Kaifeng was the beating heart of the empire. Its bustling markets glowed with lanterns, the sound of merchants haggling mingled with the chanting of monks, and towering palaces reflected imperial grandeur. Yet even in so radiant a city, shadows of ambition and betrayal lurked in silence. Among the countless scholars who came to seek fortune through the imperial examinations was Chen Shimei. Once poor and obscure, he carried the hopes of his humble family, and above all, the devotion of his wife, Qin Xianglian. She had married him when he had nothing. Through cold winters and hungry nights, she had warmed his lamp and patched his worn robes, whispering encouragement when he despaired. When he finally traveled to Kaifeng for the exams, it was she who pawned her dowry jewelry to fund his journey, sending him off with her prayers and their two young children watching with wide, trusting eyes. Chen Shimei's brilliance astonished the examiners. His essays flowed like a river of jade. His poetry shone with elegance. Word of his talent reached the emperor, who, impressed, decided to elevate him not only in office but in status. The emperor bestowed upon him an unimaginable honor: marriage to the princess, his own cherished daughter. The young scholar who once walked barefoot, now strode in brocades, hailed as a genius and son-in-law of the throne. But with the imperial favor came a secret he buried beneath his silken sleeves: a wife and children, far away, still waiting for his return. Ambition is a cruel master. Chen Shimei told himself, "That part of my life is over. To acknowledge them now would destroy everything I have gained." Months later, word of Chen Shimei's meteoric rise reached Qin Xianglian. Overjoyed, she gathered their children and set out for Kaifeng, hearts buoyed with hope. The journey was harsh: dusty roads, long nights in wayside inns, but Xianglian endured with the thought that soon she would reunite with her husband, and her children would bask in their father's glory. At last, she arrived at Chen Shimei's grand mansion. Standing before its towering gates, she clutched her children's hands and whispered, "Your father will be so proud to see you." But when the servant opened the door and heard her claim, his laughter was sharp as a blade. "Our lord married the princess herself. What low-born woman dares call herself his wife?" The door slammed in her face. Xianglian's heart faltered. She tried again and again, but was never admitted. Days passed. She waited outside, her children hungry and cold. At last, she wrote a letter, pleading, "Husband, it is I, Xianglian, who walked by your side through poverty and hunger. We have come to share your joy. For the sake of the children, see us once more." The letter reached Chen Shimei's hands. His face hardened. He burned it to ashes. But ashes cannot silence a conscience, nor prevent whispers. Xianglian's presence outside his gate began to attract attention. Some scholars passing by recognized her, recalling her devotion when Chen was poor. Rumors stirred. Perhaps the imperial son-in-law was not as spotless as he seemed. Panic gripped Chen Shimei. His entire future hung by a thread. If the court discovered his secret marriage, disgrace would be inevitable. Rage twisted his ambition into cruelty. He summoned a trusted retainer and whispered his order: "Take men. Find her. She and those brats must vanish. No trace left behind." The command was sealed with silver. That night, as moonlight bled across the alleyways of Kaifeng, assassins surrounded Xianglian. She shielded her children, her voice trembling. Why would he do this? Has his heart grown so cold? The blades gleamed, ready to silence her forever. but fate intervened. A minor official passing by heard the commotion. Shouting for the watch, he scattered the attackers. In their flight, one dropped a token, engraved with Chen Shimei's personal seal. Wounded and shaken, Xianglian was escorted to the court of Bao Zheng, the incorruptible magistrate of Kaifeng, known throughout the land as Bao Qingtian, the black-faced judge. Bao Zheng listened as Xianglian, clutching her children, recounted her story. She presented the blood-stained scraps of her husband's order, the assassin's testimony, the seal that tied the crime to Chen himself. The court gasped. When Chen Shimei was summoned, he strode in clad in official robes, arrogance on his brow. He bowed stiffly. "Lord Bao, surely you see the absurdity. This woman is deluded, perhaps bribed by my enemies. Would a royal son-in-law stoop to murder?" Bao Zheng's dark eyes burned like coals. His booming voice shook the hall. "Chen Shimei, you deny your lawful wife, cast away your children, and dare plot her death. Do you think your rank shields you? The law of the land bows to no title." The courtiers shifted uneasily. To condemn Chen was to oppose the emperor's household. But Bao Zheng's gaze did not falter. 3 days of trial followed. Evidence mounted. Witnesses spoke. The assassins confessed under torture. Xianglian's tears fell like rain, but her voice was steady. "I do not seek wealth, nor station. I only ask for justice, for the man I once loved has become a monster." At last, Bao Zheng rose. His voice echoed across the chamber. "The heavens are just. The law is impartial. Chen Shimei, you are guilty of betrayal, deceit, and attempted murder. For crimes against heaven and man, you are condemned to death by the dragon-headed guillotine." Gasps filled the court. Some ministers whispered protests. How could the emperor's son-in-law be executed? But Bao's black face was unyielding. If the law spares the powerful, then justice is nothing but dust. On the day of execution, the square overflowed with people. The great guillotine gleamed under torchlight, its blade shaped like a dragon's maw. Chen Shimei was dragged forth, his silks torn, his face pale. He shouted desperately, "I am the princess's husband. The emperor will not allow this." But no imperial pardon arrived. Bao Zheng himself appeared to oversee the sentence, his presence silencing all doubt. At the edge of the crowd, Qin Xianglian stood with her children. Her tears fell not for the man before the blade, but for the shattered dreams of love and trust she once held. The cruel executioner raised the signal. With a roar, the dragon-headed guillotine fell. Chen Shimei's head rolled, his ambition extinguished in blood. The crowd erupted, not in pity, but in awe of Bao Zheng's iron justice. From that day forth, the story spread that in Kaifeng, under Bao Qingtian, even the emperor's kin could not escape the blade of justice.